Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B. Oh, my bad. I had it beat in my head. What's going on? This Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy, Scotty B. How's your week been?
You said what now?
So how's your week been?
Oh, week's been pretty good. We just finished the battle, like the first full season of the battles with the battlegrounds, and then we the Cowboys won. Basketball started. So no, it's been pretty good, man. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. Glad that we was able to wrap up season one. Of course, everybody's out trying to get all their Christmas shopping done and get everything. I will say this year, with just getting more accustomed to shopping online, Christmas shopping was a lot easier this year. This is the most prepared I've been for Christmas in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I started later than normal, but like you said, it almost feels like I knocked everything out in about a day and a half, and you kind of just wait for the gifts to come in, and you gotta. Damn, I hope the kid's not watching, but you gotta kind of hide the gifts and things like that. So, but it's been really good. I can't really complain. There are people that who struggle through this time period and everything, whether it's from a loss or, their jobs or, just the pandemic in general. So with that, just talk to somebody. I think that's the best advice I can give is just talk to somebody and go from there.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're right about this time of year. Sometimes this is a tough time of year, regardless for people, but being in a pandemic and some people not being able to spend time with their families and that sort of thing. So I can definitely see a lot of people not being in the Christmas spirit, but it's getting closer. With 2 days out.
Yeah.
It really, I'm glad that the NBA was able to start. Because that's one thing about Christmas is watching those basketball games and watching the matchups. So let's get into it, man. Last night.
Whew. Which one you want to start? Let's start the first game. Golden State at Brooklyn, man. It wasn't close. I think it would have been a better game if Draymond would have played. I don't know how much better, but I think it would have been better than what we got yesterday. But I'll say this. So I guess we'll start with KD because he was the big story. KD played his first game since he tore his Achilles in the final a couple years ago. And I mean, he looked good. He
looked like regular KD.
Right. And so the thing is, with me, I was like, of course, his first shot he made was a three. He looked explosive. It didn't look like he got hurt. So and Kyrie looked like, Kyrie looked comfortable.
If that team can stay healthy and they can avoid chemistry issues, because there's a lot of personalities and it's a lot of new pieces, they have a legitimate shot of winning it all.
No. Well, I'll say this: they have a shot, but they're not winning.
They have pretty good chances. I mean, if you look at it, KD looked phenomenal. Kyrie looked phenomenal, and then all those players that gained the experience of playing without them last year.
Mhm.
I mean, you look at Levert, right? So I believe he had like 22 points off the bench.
Yeah.
And you look at him coming in there leading that second unit. And he's playing with that second string where he's not competing with KD or Kyrie. And
Mhm.
if they're going to have the ability to blow teams out like they did, I mean, that Golden State Warrior game, it was going early. You know,
Yeah.
it was done early. And if it gets to the point to where Kevin Durant and Kyrie, they're not having to play big minutes because they're blowing teams out, you've got all those people on the bench. Like you look at Dinwiddie, he's
Mhm.
on that bench. You know, the announcer last night made a great comparison with Allen and DeAndre Jordan. If they can kind of get in sync like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee
Right.
were last year, to where they're sharing responsibilities. I mean that's two bigs. You know, Joe Harris. I mean that team is loaded from top to bottom. If they
I
can stay
agree.
healthy, and Steve Nash, if he can manage the Eagles and they could buy into what he's selling,
Mhm.
which I mean is one game into the season, but it looks like everything is all good right now. It's a scary team, man.
No, I definitely agree that they definitely, I think that's what a lot of people thought anyway, that they're definitely a contender. You got Katie, you got Kyrie, you're definitely a contender. So I don't think that was an issue. I think a lot of people feels like if Kyrie can Kyrie and Katie coexist, as well as what would the other guys do that like the Dinwiddies and the Leverts and guys like that. But I agree. I do see what people see last night. If last night is any indication of they're gonna have a hell of a season. And we're gonna rank the teams in a little bit, right? But uh I see Levert as a 6 man of the year candidate. You know,
Oh
I I,
yeah.
I see him as a 6 man of the year. And so with Golden State, what were your thoughts? Cause I'll tell you mine in a little bit, but what were your thoughts?
All right. So one last point I wanted to make on Brooklyn that I
Mhm.
think everybody is overlooking is KD and Kyrie, with them being there a year and not playing,
Mhm.
they were able to at least get to know those guys too. You know what I mean? So they were able to build up chemistry. Even though this is the first time we're seeing them on the court together, they've
Mhm.
been there a year prior. So just shout out to the Nets for I guess not rushing the process, not
Right.
rushing KD back and realizing like, okay, we had an opportunity to get him healthy. We can take a gamble on him and pay him the money, and he's going to be Kevin Durant,
Mhm.
and develop our younger players, and then we'll see a year from now and bring them back together. So that seems to be panning out for them. Golden State, um, Wiseman looked good.
Mhm.
He scored 19 and 6. I like the energy that he brought. Showed a lot of versatility in his game.
Mhm.
So I'm excited how he's going to fit with the Warriors. I think he's going to be a nice addition. Everybody else has to play better. Andrew Wiggins has to play better. I don't think the Warriors are in trouble, but I think the reality is that they don't have Durant and they're missing Clay. And Steph, as great as he is, other people are going to have to step up on that team. Andrew Wiggins having 13 points, that's not going to cut it. Right now, he's got to be that legitimate second star. He's got to be that second 1-2 punch, and then Wiseman give you what he give you. We've talked about this in detail. Draymond, he's a role player. He's not somebody that you're going to be able to consistently depend on as a second option. But if you've got everybody else firing on all cylinders, he's going to be able to come in and complement those guys and do whatever's missing. So if
Right.
they all get going, Draymond will fall in and it'll all go together. What are your thoughts?
I kind of agree with most of everything you said. Steph didn't. I mean, well, it's almost like the way it looked yesterday. and again, we're just basing everything on one game. But the way it looked yesterday is like right now, Steph is going to have to be perfect. And if Steph has to be perfect, then, I mean, as good as he is, it's going to be tough. I feel like what they what they need to do. Well, one, Draymond has to be healthy. I want to know how hurt is he? You know what I'm saying? Because if he's hurt to the point where he's going to miss like a couple weeks, that's not too bad. I'm sure they could probably stay leveled for that long. But if not, they're gonna have to go get another piece. They're gonna have to do something. One thing that they can do that I will probably do is think about having Wiggins come off the bench and go with that second team and find a spark that way. The other thing is right now you can tell like those guys they don't really have that cohesion that you would think that they would have, right? So Andre Iguodala, Barbosa, even Bogert, so JaVale McGee, some of those guys that knew how to play with Steph, Clay, and of course Clay's not there, but you can tell these guys don't really know how to play with Steph yet, and that can change, of course. So once that happens, and once they start flowing, I think that they'll be okay. We'll see in a little bit if I have them in the top 8 or not. But right now, I think that Steve Kerr should consider. Of course, I ain't the coach, but he should consider bringing Wiggins off the bench, and I think honestly that would be a good move for that team.
Yeah, you touched on a couple key points. One is Steph, as blasphemy as this sounds, I'm about to say it, he might have to change the way he plays a little bit. And I don't mean tone it down wise, but like you said, so the way that Golden State has been able to play is Steph, do your thing. We've got good enough players to where we could create our own shot. We could score at will. If you get into a slump, we could bail you out of that. But that brand of basketball, you're going to see a lot of what you saw last night, to where Steph is going to have a good game, but they're going to get blown out. So, the JaVale McGee's, the Iguodalas, all those guys that knew how to play with them and were good role players, you're now asking the other guys, no, you've got to consistently score and you got to consistently give us something. The stuff that KD and Klay Thompson were giving them, some of those guys that I'm not going to say they're not used to it, but they're going to be asked to do more to take some of that burden off of stuff. So I do got one question for you. Is this the beginning of the end of the Warriors dynasty? Ooh. I know it's one game.
I'm about to say it's one game. Well, the dynasty. So,
but they're run at the top. We'll just say they're run at the top.
It's hard to say because Clay's not there. It'd be different if they lost like that and Steph, Clay, and Draymond was there. You know what I'm saying? It was only Steph and a bunch of your Wiseman and some of those other guys. I'll say this. If Draymond comes back and plays how he played a couple years ago, right? Even like when he was with KD and all of them, I think that they'll be all right. They'll be able to stay above average. And but once you get Clay back, I think if you have Clay, Steph, now Wiseman and Draymond, I think you got something there. So I don't think that is necessarily. I don't think that is necessarily over dynasty wise. At the number 1 seed wise, those days are over. Those days are over. Where people are scared to play you, those days are over.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think the landscape of the NBA has changed over the past couple of years. And what I mean by that is you have teams like Brooklyn, LA, Houston. I'll throw Miami in there or Milwaukee to where
Yeah, I appreciate it.
yeah, but the talent. I guess the point that I'm making is the talent has shifted to where it's not like it was 2 years ago to where the Warriors were just unbeatable. Like you knew if you were tuned into a game that, I mean, they used to call them the third quarter Warriors. I mean, you knew no matter
Right.
what the score was, when that
Yeah.
third quarter hit, it was over. But now you've got other teams. I guess I can throw Denver in there too, to where they've got a shot when they walk into the door. Now, will it be different, like you said, once everybody gets healthy? Probably and possibly, but keeping everybody healthy at the same time, it's extremely difficult. I mean,
Right.
really, honestly, I'll take you back to the TMC days with the Warriors. They couldn't keep them healthy at the same time. And it was like one of them what ifs, like if all these guys were healthy at the same time, they could have been great, but getting them all there, it was challenging.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to LA versus LA. What are your thoughts?
So last year, it's like deja vu, right? The Clippers were playing LA, and
First game
both of us came on there and said, let's not overreact. It's the same sentiment this year, but I saw some problems that LA has to fix.
Which LA?
The Lakers.
Oh, you're overreacting.
Mark,
Go ahead.
Mark Gasol has got to play better. Right now, it appears after one game, and I don't know. He could work himself into shape. He's a professional, but right now he can't guard himself. His performance yesterday was, I mean, he left. I think he had 0 points, 1 rebound, 5 fouls, and he only played 12 minutes.
So we could do that.
He cannot. Yeah, he could not guard Serge Ibaka last night. I mean, Serge was killing him. When Zubac was in the game, he played pretty well, but that's one glaring issue that they've got to fix. He's got to be able to step out there and guard those stretch fours. One thing that they've lost, and we'll see how they adjust with the season, is JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard were defensive presence, and they were able to rebound the ball really well. When he would step out, they would lose a lot of rebounding. So Frank Vogel, he's got to adjust to how he's playing them. He played them all with Anthony Davis yesterday, and I'm not sure if maybe that's the right role. So that's one thing that they got to fix. I'm sure they'll make the adjustments with that. Dennis Schroeder is an over-dribbling guy. He has got to figure out how to get the over dribbles, bad shot selection, and that's not going to get it with the Lakers. He didn't have to do that anymore. He's with LeBron. He's going to have to figure out how to play off the ball, not over dribble, and make the right pass. That's what they're going to ask him to do. Now, to me, that's coaching. Somebody needs to have a conversation with him. I don't know if it's going to be LeBron. I don't know if it's going to be Frank Vogel, but somebody's got to tell him he's got to play different. He's on a different team. It's got to go a little bit different. But they fix those things, man. They'll be all right.
All right. So as soon as we finish this, right after the winner of the week, we're gonna get into our rankings, right? We're gonna rank 1 to 15 in each conference. And I'm interested to see your where you have everybody ranked. All right. So me personally, like you said, it was the first. So it's rare. It is very rare that you see a champion win the first game of the season. It is rare because the emotions of winning the championship, getting your rings, and the way those rings looked, it was like, my God. I think they were the most expensive rings in sports history. So you have all of that, and then the emotions of people's families, calling them out and things of that nature. So I get that. Now, those guys that you named, Schroeder and Gasol, they weren't on the team. And that's fine. But, the majority of the team was there. So with that, I think that you're right with Gasol. He has to play better or he's not going to play. I think Schroeder was just trying to find his footing, which is normal because first game, well, they had the preseason, but it's the first game where you're playing with these guys and you're just trying to get in where you can fit in. And I saw that LeBron was letting them bring up the ball a little bit more, and he didn't bring up the ball as much, which is fine too. I think all of that stuff is going to work itself out. I still don't see a team beating them in 7 games, not a one.
No, and I mean, to the Clippers' credit, they played a lot better. Paul George, I know I crushed him a couple weeks ago, but he played better. He looked a lot better. Something that he was able to do in this last game, and again, this one game was he was able to finish when the team needed him.
Right.
So that was refreshing to see. He actually led them in scoring. And I mean, Kawhi is Kawhi. He's going to do what he does. So I think the Clippers, they're right where they were last year.
No. That's it.
Okay.
So with the Clippers, I know it's the NBA and I know teams go on runs. They had a hell of a first quarter, but that second quarter, my God, it was horrid. That was a terrible. I mean, to be up, what were they up? 24, 23 or something like that?
They were kicking the Lakers' butt.
Yeah, and it was up and we're up by 2 at halftime, where the Lakers actually could have took the lead. So I just felt like, again, it's my thing is the Lakers had a shot to win that game, and for them to give up that big lead because Brooklyn had that big of a lead and they didn't give it up. Of course, Golden State didn't have LeBron and AD, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if AD is 1 or 2 in MVP voting.
Oh yeah. So here's the thing about the Lakers too that I left out. LeBron and AD, they didn't have terrible games, but they didn't have the games that we're accustomed to seeing. So AD, huh?
Did it look like they were chilling?
Yeah, and they may chill out. They may be tired. I mean, the season started fast, and may take LeBron. LeBron nowadays, man, he'll loaf until he get around the play. Like he'll pace himself a little bit more. Anthony Davis, like I said, he had 18 points. I mean, Anthony Davis can get 18 points in a sleep. So you don't want to overreact too much because, I mean, they definitely have the talent and they have the credibility. They won last year.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think that if the Clippers close how they closed last night, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay. I do feel like that they'll be okay. And matter of fact, let's get into our rankings now. Let's do that and then get into the winner of the week because I have a feeling I know who your winner of the week is. So, all right, go ahead and start. So we're gonna start with the Eastern Conference. Your 1 through 4. Who are your top 4 seeds, man?
Top 4 in the Eastern. I want to go Brooklyn. I want to go Milwaukee.
Okay.
I'm going to go Philly. Then I'm going to go Miami.
Wow. All right. So, damn, I wasn't expecting that. All right. So, well, for the most part, I do have Brooklyn at 1. I do have Milwaukee at 2, slightly by a smidgen. I have Boston at 3, and at 4, I agree. I have Miami at 4. So 5, 6, 7.
5, I have Boston. 6, yeah. 6, I'm going to go with the Wizards. At 7.
Wait. You said the Wizards at 6?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the Wizards at 6.
The Wizards at 6?
Yep, I'm gonna put the Wizards at 6.
Okay.
And I want to put Atlanta at 7. And that could go either way. Wizards at 7, Atlanta at 6.
So all right. So with that, I don't know if the NBA. I don't know if they changed it to do. Which I think they should with the playing game, how they did last year. I think they should incorporate that like for good. I personally like that. Like the 8 and 9 and 10 are fighting for one spot for the most part. My 5, 6, 7 is going to be. I actually have Philly at 5. I have Philly at 5. Toronto at 6. You forgot about them?
Yeah, I'm keep them where they at though. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Toronto at 6. Indianapolis at 7.
So I changed it a little bit. I'm putting Toronto at 6,
Mm-hmm.
the Wizards at 7, and the Hawks at 8. And I think Orlando does not make it, and I think Indiana doesn't make it. So so those are the two teams that were in last year. I'm replacing them with the Wizards and the Hawks.
Hawks. Okay. So I left off at Indiana at 7. Don't hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, I'm gonna get back to you in a second because you told me that you had a sleeper for the 8 seed and you don't even got them at 10. So anyway, at 6, I had Indianapolis at 7. I'm going to Orlando. I'm going to Orlando at 8. Atlanta at 9, and the Wizards at 10. And I'll go with my 11 to 15, which would be it'll be Cleveland, New York, Charlotte, and I'm forgetting somebody. Cleveland, New York, Charlotte. Who am I forgetting? Detroit. So yeah, that was my bottom 4. But I'm gonna switch. Detroit is gonna be at 14, and Charlotte will be at 15.
Yeah, I think Trae Young takes the next step this year. He had a phenomenal year last year, but I think he starts figuring out how to equate that to winning.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what I'm hearing from the Wizards camp with how Russell Westbrook has just came in and he's gelled. He's brought that new energy. I think if you look at the Wizards, they were like in 9th place all of last year, and that was without John Wall. So you add a phenomenal talent like Westbrook to that team that at least knows how to get to the playoffs. I think him and Bill figure it out, and they get them in the East.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. So my question to you is: you told me, I want to say about a week or 2 ago, that Cleveland was a sleeper, and Cleveland was going to be the 8th seed. You have them in the top 10.
Well, so a couple of things. I did say that, and I still stand by that they're a dark horse team. But right now, I believe Kevin Love is not necessarily. He's fighting some injury issues,
Anyway, he's going to get traded.
Yeah,
goes to Miami.
So I like the young guards. I like Sexton. I like Garland. I think that they'll be competitive and they'll be a good Cleveland team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff ready. Do I think that they could beat Trae Young or the Wizards or somebody like that? Probably not. And they're not good enough to beat Toronto or the Bostons yet. But I think in the near future, they're going to be a force to reckon with if they can keep that young core together that they have.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. But I do think that Kevin Love is going to be traded. I think they trade him.
Talk about Miami.
Yeah. I see Miami, and boy, oh boy, that's that. If he can stay healthy in Miami, that'd be a huge upgrade for the Heat. All right, so the West. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you can start.
So my top four in the West. I've been going back and forth with number 2, but the Lakers are number 1. I think I have Lakers at number 1. I have Lakers. You might disagree with me here, but I have Lakers, Portland, Clippers, Nuggets.
Wow. Okay.
I think Portland is going to be legit, man. And I think that Dame Lillard.
Say that for again.
Huh?
Say that for again.
I said Lakers, Blazers, Clippers, Nuggets.
All right. So I go Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Houston.
Houston? No. I disagree there. But I mean, again, that's your picks. Houston, why Houston? I want to hear Houston. I don't even think they're gonna make the playoffs.
I think if James Harden could get out of his own way, and if everybody can stay healthy, I like what I saw with Christian Wood. Christian Wood and James Harden have some good chemistry.
Right.
Then you look at John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. Like I said, man, if they can stay healthy and they buy into playing with each other, I think a 4 seed it might even be undervalued on them. If James Harden buys in and goes on the tear, like because he's at the beginning of the year, James Harden always has like one of the best seasons at the beginning of the year. I mean, he'll go on a stretch to where he's averaging 45 or something like that. And if he can catch fire, hopefully like all this strip club or party stuff that he had going on, hopefully that just motivates him to just be like, you know what? I got to play ball. Let me quit doing this stupid stuff. And if he's on, man.
Right. Okay.
So back to that though. What did you think about that? Well, you know what? We'll talk about it a little bit later because I got something else I want to talk about with that.
Okay. So you're 4. You said your top 4. So my next 4, after Denver, I have Utah. I think Utah is always going to be around the 4 or 5 seed. I'm sorry. I got Utah, and then I have Dallas at 7. Oh wait, did I say that right?
No, you got Dallas at 6.
Huh?
I said you got Dallas at 6. You got Utah at 5. Dallas
Utah
at 6.
5, Dallas at 6. And at 7, this one is tough because 7 is like, but I'll say if Jalen Jackson is healthy, I'm going, and that's what I'm assuming that he'll get healthy. I'm going Memphis at 7.
Oh, okay. All right. So 5, I agree with you with Utah. 6, I go Portland. 7, I go to Warriors. And 8, I go Phoenix.
So at 8, I have New Orleans. So I have New Orleans at 8, and so let's just say they do have a play-in game, right? New Orleans would be at 8, and I have Golden State at 9, playing. They will have to play New Orleans, but I have Golden State at 9. I have I have Phoenix at 10. Which those 3 I feel like could be really interchangeable. New Orleans, Golden State, and Phoenix. But right now I have Phoenix at 10, which I feel like I'm undervalued. You know what? I'm gonna move them up. I'm gonna move them to 8, which they'll probably end up being around 7 to 6 because of I'm putting down at 8. But I have them at 8. New Orleans at 9, and Golden State at 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Phoenix team. I, I gotta give a lot of credit to Memphis. I think Memphis is going to be better than they've been. But I think Chris Paul, the addition of Chris Paul playing with Devin Booker and young Aiton, that team is ready to. I don't want to say they're going to be that good, but they're going to be a playoff team. I think Chris Paul does have one more good year in him, and I think the chemistry with him and Booker, I think is going to come together. And we're going to see it.
All right, and just to fast forward, who do you have in the finals? I mean, the conference finals.
Oh man, so the conference finals, I think we get the matchup that we all wanted to see last year with Clippers and Lakers. I think they make that happen. And then on the East, I got Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
All right, so mine is a little different. I'm hesitant to put the Clippers in the conference finals, but I'm going Clippers in the conference finals against the Lakers, and I have Miami, Brooklyn in the conference finals in the East.
Yeah, and I understand you don't want to make a prediction. You don't have to jinx it. I know you want your brother to win, and I really don't want you to get bullheaded because you defend the family. So you don't have to put them in the East. I ain't gonna put you on the spot like that. You don't have to go for Miami. We all know that common sense will prevail in this, and you won't put Miami there. So I'm not even gonna put you in a position like that.
Let's get to the win of the week, man. I'm tired. Let's get to the win of the week.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, man. When I heard this story, I was just like, how stupid could you be? My winner of the week this week is Dwayne Haskins. He is the quarterback of the Washington football team. And the reason why he is my winner of the week this week is not because he loves strippers, because most of us do. Not because he was celebrating at strippers at his house, because, I mean, that's commendable too. But the fact is that he didn't have on a mask, took a picture not having on a mask, and he's still in season, and his coach is fighting cancer, man. It's just beyond immature. This guy right now has because he probably won't be in Washington next year, or he may, just depending on how it goes. But he had an opportunity to take over the starting role, lead Washington to playoffs, which this guy, he was drafted 15th, had all the talent in the world at Ohio State. And a lot of people feel that his development has been halted because of his maturity, that he's not putting in the actual work that needs to be done. And this kind of gives everybody an example to point to where it's like, oh, dude, you do lack the maturity. So he's been fined $40,000. He had his captain strip double, and he's more than likely going to have to start this week. But I mean, he's just completely thrown away his future, probably with the Washington football team. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you pretty much took most of the points that I was going to make. Very immature. He just got to, especially as a quarterback, especially as a black quarterback, your decision making has to be impeccable. And right now, his decision making stinks. It'd be different if this was like the first time, or if we haven't seen other like stories of this. But we have, even with him. So I think that by default he may have to start. I didn't think that the fine was enough. I think because sometimes, you got to be mindful. I mean, yeah, like you said, Ron Rivera, he's a cancer survivor, but he's considered high risk. And to me, it just screams selfishness, and privilege. He feels like he's privileged and things of that nature, and it's unfortunate because I used to try fight for him, even though he played for two teams that I hate with a passion, but I felt like he's a good quarterback, you know. But you look at him and then someone like a Josh Rosen, right? And you would think Josh Rosen had a black cat cross his face or something like that, or cross his path, because I felt like he's gotten a raw deal. You know, being drafted 10th, didn't really get a shot with the Cardinals, and then went to the Dolphins, didn't really get a shot there either. He actually did just get picked up. But
he'll get a shot. He'll get an opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna get a shot now, right? But my thing is like, I feel like Haskins has gotten a ton of shots, and I think his time. I mean, so here's the thing: I need them to lose the next two games, right? I do. I need them to lose the next two games, and it's gonna be tough. But if he's the starter and they lose those two games, he is definitely out of there. I think right now it's a 95% chance that he's gone. I think if he loses those two games is 99.6 or something crazy like that. I think that he's out of there. I don't think Ron Rivera wanted him as a quarterback from the beginning. So now it's just like, get him out of there. Get him gone.
Well, it's something that you touched on, and it's the reality of the situation is the black quarterback. The black quarterback, it feels like so you got to be perfect off the field. You know what I mean? Because like you can't bring any drama, and you got to say the right things to the press. We kind of saw that with Cam Newton, where he would say things, and it'd be like it'd be a double standard. You know what I mean? If he did things, or we kind of saw it with Vince Young, where it was double standard when he did things. So you already have that working against you, and you have a short leash. Like you said, he's got all those factors to where he's got an incoming staff that isn't invested in him. He hasn't exactly been consistent enough to where you're like, you know what, we got to give this guy a shot. So they're already walking in the door thinking like, the Washington football team should never even drafted this guy this high. Then they play him. He's a poor performer. And within the season, I think he was reduced to the third stringer. So by the chance of, I don't even want to, we'll say bad luck for some, but good luck for him. He has the two people in the same season get hurt in front of him, and they're forced to play him. And then he's got the opportunity to where at least he could, if he's not a starting quarterback, he could prove that, okay, I'm good enough to play in this league. I'm a serviceable backup. And then you go and you do this immature stuff to where, like I said, it's not about the strippers. It's about just being a professional. You know what I mean? And the professional thing is like right now in the pandemic, all these players, you run the risk of bringing it back to other players and bringing it back to other coaches. So you have to be responsible with that. And for a quarterback to do it, I mean, we saw during baseball season when the two pitchers for the Cleveland Indians did it, and guess what? They shipped them jokers right out of town. Matter of fact, the team left them in the city, got out of there, and was hot, man.
Yeah. And I mean, and again, it's unfortunate because I do think that he has talent. Just looking at the game, yeah, they lost last week, but you saw some things with him like, man, this kid could play, man. But somebody to pick him up, and we can stay on football real quick. I said last week that Jalen Hurts looked like the rookie version of Russell Wilson, and boy, oh boy, the last week they played who did they play? Arizona, and he looked like a rookie version of Russell Wilson.
Phenomenal game.
Yeah, absolutely great game. Cowboys gonna kick their butts this week though, but I don't know that for real. I really don't know. It doesn't even matter. But Carson Wentz days, my personal opinion, Carson Wentz is done in Philly. He's done. He's done.
Yeah, And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we said the same thing. I think we agreed on this topic is that this is Jalen Hurts' job to lose. This is his audition. If he runs away with it and he looks good, they're going to make him the starter. Because the argument before Jalen Hurts took over was that, oh, yeah, this is just a terrible Philly team. That's why Wentz couldn't get it done. So we would expect somebody of lesser talent to go in there and struggle. And I mean, the Saints, people could say they were without Drew Brees, but that's still a really good football team. I mean, matter of fact, a lot of people have that team going in. Like the game that we saw with the Saints and the Chiefs, a lot of people were saying that that's the preview of the Super Bowl. So for him to go in and beat that team, that says something. The Cardinals, I mean, they're just a dangerous team. A little bit inconsistent to where, they're not the top tier team. But with Murray and Hopkins, anything is possible, man. So for him to go in there and, I mean, hold his own. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards, I believe, 3 touchdowns, had over 60 yards rushing. I mean, those are good. I mean, you can't ignore numbers like that.
Right.
And I doubt that the Eagles get into the playoffs, but they're not out of it.
They're about to be out of it this weekend.
If they beat the Cowboys and the Washington football team loses to the Panthers, the Eagles are right there. I mean, they need a little bit of help from the Giants, which I don't know. The Giants probably need to win out too. I think if they lose one, then the Eagles are right there in the mix. If the Giants take care of business, if they win out, I think they win the division.
Who?
The Giants, if they win out.
The Giants got the Cowboys week 17.
Yeah, they would have to win out.
And everybody got to win out. The Eagles have the toughest time. The Eagles can't get more than 6 wins right now. So this is pretty much for the Cowboys and Eagles. This is like an elimination game,
right?
So we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. As crazy as it sounds, the NFC East is now becoming competitive. It's now being competitive. But let's go to before we we talk about the holiday stuff. Let's talk about the Steelers. And that the Browns can it's real that they can win the division. It is real. I know you don't want to hear that. I know you say I'm a closet Browns fan. But damn it, Scotty, they could win the damn division.
So what we've seen with the Browns is a quarterback's development over the course of the season. You're right, they can win the division. The Steelers are in trouble. The Steelers are in a lot of trouble. And I think we touched on this a couple weeks ago. They cannot run the ball. And Cincinnati, I mean, picked them apart. They dared them to throw it, because they knew they couldn't run it. And that game plan, ultimately, they ended up winning doing that. Big Ben is averaging over 44 throws a game. That's not going to get it done, especially a quarterback that's had an injury like that to his elbow. He can't go out there and throw 44 times. His receivers have been playing mediocre. Mm-hmm. I think, personally, if they cannot figure out how to run the ball and be physical at the point of attack, their season, they will be the first ones going. They will be the first ones going home. They're going to make the playoffs because, I mean, it's 11 wins and, they've done what they were supposed to do all season. But if they cannot figure out how to run the ball, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. That Cleveland Browns team is a physical team. They're going that defense. They're going to try to manhandle them on the line of scrimmage and run the ball down their throat. They've got to get more physical on defense, and they've got to be able to establish the run on offense. So it's going to be an ugly game. I hate to say this, and I'm thank God I didn't bet no money or cap this year on it, but you probably were right about the Browns.
Here we go. Probably.
Well, we still got 2 more games, and I will say this. I will say this.
They're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs. Win the division. I mean, we still got to see.
Yeah, I think that. So, what will ultimately be the hurting factor was that Monday night game against Baltimore. They definitely let one get away with that game, and that game probably. The funny thing is, I think that game was a. I think that game propelled both teams. If that makes any sense, even with the loss, I think that that Cleveland figured that they can compete with anyone, and that if they have a lead, if they're down, then the lead isn't safe, and that they can make a game of it. Yeah, man, I think people better watch out for Cleveland, man. People better watch out for.
I want to tell you one team that was going to get my winner of the week, and that's some damn Jets. How did they mess up the number 1 pick?
I don't think they messed up, man. I don't think that they messed up, man. You got to win. Listen, as a player, man, you got to win the game, man. You got to win the game.
I feel Adam Gase. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to be here next year anyway, so let me not wear that I was 0-16. But I mean, like at some point, they had to realize that Adam Gase wasn't the guy. We should just fire this clown and take it for the rest of the season and get him out of there. Like they thought he was going to go along with getting Trevor Lawrence, and then they fire him, and somebody go, no.
All right. Well, we could talk about that more next week. We didn't really get a chance to. So right now, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's have a little bit of fun. So, as people know, we have the battlegrounds, and where we actually it's almost like a battle of the playlist. Right now, there's been some controversy in the battlegrounds. I had a battle with one of our dear friends, Marcus Thomas, and he calls himself the king, and that's from the self-proclaimed event. But he had some issues. Man, let me just bring these 2 guys on. All right, so keep your mask on. You're in a public place. Keep your mask on.
I'm sitting down.
Okay,
I'm socially distancing.
Okay. How you doing, Marcus?
You don't have to answer that.
So right now,
to answer any
you
questions.
don't have to answer that.
On
okay.
the grounds
right,
that it may incriminate me.
Okay. All right. So right now, Marcus and LaFate. LaFate is representing Marcus, and I don't know if you guys remember a few months ago. These 2 guys were going back and forth on the show. They were one of the first guys that we had the I think they were the first that had the Wednesday battles. So we did the Wednesday battles, and now LaFate is actually defending Marcus, which is interesting because So, Scott, do you want to take it from here?
Hold on, Anthony. I don't really like how the lack of seriousness you're taking this with right now. This is a very serious matter, and I just think that you're just taking it very nonchalantly, like you don't know what's at stake here. So, I mean, we're gonna have some conversation during this live to kind of straighten things out. I mean, you could call this a mediation if you'd like to. I just don't think we're going to come to any agreements on this call. Personally, in dealing with you've been very difficult to deal with, and you've been very difficult to deal with. And at this point, we're just here to kind of try to mediate, but we don't expect anything to come out of this.
Wow.
And these guys haven't come to mediate. They've done nothing but have an attempt to take food off of our plate. But guess what? I'm taking lemons off your tree. I'm taking lemons off your tree.
And we're taking hats off of Anthony's head. Okay. And we're taking liquor out your cabinet as well.
My God. So I'll say this. So Fate, since you're the attorney.
I don't like those air quotes, sir.
I'm sorry. I added a pinky.
Do you see my name? It is Fate Esquire, Attorney at Large. Okay, please pay some homage and respect.
At law. At large or at law?
At large.
Okay. All right. So what is the let's try and clear the air. Problem.
So hold on, before I say something, I googled that name, and it looks like his setup is in his garage.
I'm at the mall right now. Okay, I stopped my Christmas shopping for this. All right. Now you guys have interrupted my free time. This is my personal time. You guys have interrupted my personal free time to buy gifts. You know, I was going to buy some vitamins so that my daughter's orange tree could grow next.
So you did ask,
because you ain't gonna have no lemons.
So you did ask a good question. What is the problem? What are we being sued for?
Well, listen. I mean, it originally started off with Marcus having grievances with the way that his battle was judged. You know, there's a lot of controversy around, you know, the final round. Our stance is that there is a little bit of skeptical nature with some of the judges. We kind of feel like they wanted to see Marcus fail in the playoffs in a national stage. It's just you know, there was egregious decisions that were made during that battle that, you know, if we run the tape back, we can really dig down deep into, you know, the things that occurred. That was the original problem, you know. So after Marcus's first legal representation had an untimely fall down a set of steps, you know, and hurt his quad, I was called in to you know, address the matter. Everyone knows that myself and Marcus, you know, weren't the closest of friends in Battlegrounds. You know, we were really at each other, but there comes a time and a place sometimes where you got to settle your beefs and work for the greater good. And this is one of those times. And, you know, the big problem happened this morning when I received a letter to my address that was from Scott Smith, and that's you, Scotty B. And it said some very, very inflammatory things, suggesting that you wanted to take my lemon tree that I've worked 3 years to grow for my daughter so that we can have freshly squozen lemonade in the summer.
Wait, you're an attorney and you said squozen?
Yes, freshly squozen. Yes, sir. That's what I said. Okay. Now, while I was just thinking about how low you have to be of a human being to suggest that you want to take a lemon tree that someone has grown in their garden for 3-4 years and just ripens with yellow lemons that look magnificent.
Are you about to cry?
No, I'm not about to cry, sir. But this is a very emotional matter for us. Yes, it is.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick before you continue? First of all, Mark is quick with the mean face. We don't believe you, but I think we should give. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me bring someone on. Hold on 1 second. We have Shantina here. Shantina, say hello.
Hello.
She will be.
Hello, attorney. Tina, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
We will be presiding the case on Tuesday. We do have a battle. It'll be myself and Scotty against Fate and Marcus. But I will say this. The symbolism right now with Scotty's hat and Shantina's blouse compared to those lemons that's going to be coming to the East Coast on Tuesday.
The real reason why you want our lemons is because you're bitter. Okay,
Ooh.
you two are bitter individuals.
But why are we bitter?
You're bitter because a case was brought to your attention, and instead of just accepting it and trying it as good men that you should be, you retaliated against my client, and you retaliated against me. Retaliation is a very Tina, could you explain how serious retaliation of a claim is against an organization?
I have to remain neutral at this time, Esquire at large. I am going to be the judge, so I cannot make any comments about any pending litigation.
Well, I know she knows. I know she knows how serious a retaliation case is against an employer.
Mr. Fate, Mr. Fate, let me break a couple of things down to you. Okay. You have to have a burden of proof. Every allegation that you've approved me and Anthony of, you can't prove.
Why was my lemon tree even brought? See, that's where the retaliation comes into play. The fact that my lemon tree was brought in. How do you sue the lawyer? What did the lawyer do?
Because I'm that damn petty.
That's it.
Did you catch that, Tina? He said he's petty and he's admitted it. That was on record. It was not straight.
Hold on, y'all. All right, look, listen.
That's off the record.
Before we proceed with this, we do have something coming up tonight that I do think is important. And we are having some fun and everything, but tonight we are going to have a Christmas battle that is going to be hosted by Marcus. This is his first time hosting. The funny thing is, he agreed to host before he got his letter. Actually, no, I think it was after he got his letter. But either way, he agreed to host, so he doesn't have much of a choice right now. And I think he is going to do a great job. I'm doing that.
Hey, let me say one thing though. If you are in the Battlegrounds Facebook page, please go look at the press conference from today for Fate and the press conference from Monday. If you want to laugh nonstop, go look at those press conferences. In all seriousness,
they were those two press conferences were magnificent. It's not too often I go back to watch it just for viewing pleasure. Absolutely. But right now, so tonight, we are gonna have a Christmas battle. And Santina is actually gonna be participating in that. And let's give a hand for Santina. She did win the championship. So I think we should have a hand for her. They don't want to clap for you. So I think
Face it.
Nah, I don't know. That's not.
I did. Okay.
No,
I can't clap with my cell phone in my hands. That was
you could have did
as best as I could. Okay. There you go.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
it. And look how angry Marcus looks doing that. So,
word.
Well, he has the right. Listen, hold on. First of all, tonight, the only reason that my client is hosting the battle tonight is because he's contractually bound to do so. Okay? If he was not contractually bound to do so, he would not be showing up at this battle to host tonight. So you should thank him for his presence tonight. Okay? And I mean that with pun intended, being Christmas. You should thank him for his presence.
Well, we thank him for his presence.
So I will say this. Tuesday will be it'll be a good battle for Scotty and myself. I may, we'll see what happens.
Can I address and say one more thing, because it seems like it's been missing from this conversation. We talk a lot about my lemon tree, but we haven't talked about your obligations and the award that would come to us if we win. You see, what we want, Mr. Anthony Adebayo, is we want a 6-month hiatus of you wearing hats during your battle. Because you see, we didn't have to get here, okay? We didn't have to get to this point where you are putting stakes, and also Scotty B, Scott Smith, yes. We want 50% of your liquor, which will be acquired when I come to the East Coast, and also the King will hold some in his cabinet as well, waiting for us to get to the East Coast to celebrate and drink on your behalf.
So I got a question, right? So we only got a lemon tree. You guys want 50%, 51%, half my liquor, half Ant's hats, 6 months without him wearing a hat. How much more are you guys going to shake us down for? That's what this is. It's a shakedown. And I urge anybody that's trying to seek fake representation, it's a shady lawyer. I'm putting that in the air right now. A shady lawyer. I'm putting it out there.
Well, Scotty,
this is a shakedown, man.
This is actually a counter.
Enough is enough.
This is actually a counter to the counter suit that you have against me. This is a counter to the counter. Keep in mind, this really started off in a very settlement letter. We could have signed NDAs. We could have settled this matter behind closed doors, but you let it spill out into the public. And see, when you spill out things to the public, it puts us in a position where our image looks bad, okay? Now, you put us in a position to act, and we did so by making these demands. And I think that you should really consider next time effing with Fate Esquire and the law firm offices of Fate.
Are you done?
Yeah, I
could be done. If I choose to be done.
All I heard was about the blah 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 blah. We'll see you on Tuesday. All right.
And we're going to see your head on Tuesday as well, without a hat on it.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Shantina, we're gonna see you in about 10 minutes. We gotta close out the daggone show. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, see you later. We see you in a little bit. All right, listen. Hey, Scotty, man. We gotta get to this battle. I am sick of them guys. Enough is enough. We're gonna listen. Wednesday, we're gonna come back and we're gonna have them on there. We're gonna have them on the show on Wednesday, and they will let everybody know that they are losers. All right.
Yeah, we got something in store for them.
All right, man. So you guys are crazy, man. But all right, let's get out of here. This off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
We out of here.
Peace.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo.